When positioning children relative to other sibling views, you can add constraints on their position. For example, one text view must be above another text view, or one image view must be to the left of another text view. All these constraints remind me of making a seating chart for a dinner party. We do have our birthday party celebration coming up, so let's look at the seating chart for that. We invited all these people over for dinner, but there are constraints on where people want to sit. Some people must sit next to their best friend. Other people have what you might call frenemies, so they might not want to sit next to certain people. So taking into account all of that, I came up with this proposed layout. Kunal, Ben, and Kaguri are up here. Natalie, Lila, and me are down here, and Amy, Emoju, and Jenny are in this corner. So could we build this seating arrangement in XML using text views and a relative layout? We know how to position views in corners. So the Lila text view would be aligned to the parent's left edge and bottom edge. The Jenny text view would be aligned to the parent's right edge and bottom edge. For Ben, we would align him to the top edge of the parent. By the way, we're assuming that the parent is the full width and height of the screen. So we've set match parent for width and height. So back to Ben. He's aligned to the top of the parent. We also want to center him horizontally. Informally, you might call these three views the anchor views, because everyone else is positioned relative to these people, and these people won't move regardless of where everyone else is sitting. So let's add another person. We have Kunal here, who's located to the left of Ben. But how do we express that in XML? Well, there's no specific attribute that says that a view should be to the left of a view named Ben. All the Android attribute names are general, so that it works for any use case that you would want. We want to position Kunal to the left of Ben, but we don't know of any existing attribute names that can do that. Luckily though, relative layout has an attribute that says Android : layout to left of. This means that the Kunal text view should be to the left of some view. And the way we specify some view is to use view IDs. We can assign view ID names to any view. They don't have to be specifically just for relative layout. They could be located within a relative layout or a linear layout, or any other view group. So on the Ben text view, we can add this attribute Android ID. The value of it is the ID name. The format starts with an @ symbol. @ refers to a resource in our Android app. We've also seen this @ symbol for referring to images in our app, for example, @drawable. Then we specify the resource type. In this case, the resource type is an ID. We also add the plus symbol, because this is the first time we're declaring this ID. Then we have a slash, and then we have the name of the view. This is the name that we chose for the Ben text view. We call it Ben_text_view. The basic requirements are that the name can't have any spaces, that's why we use underscore symbols here. It needs to start with a letter, and it can't contain any of the weird punctuation symbols. Numbers are fine though. So in this case, we give Ben the ID of Ben_text_view. That way we can refer to it later. So on the Kunal text view, we can add the attribute layout to left of, and we can say it's to the left of the Ben text view. We refer to the ID for the Ben text view using @ID. We don't need to use the plus symbol because we've already defined that ID. This is the second time we're using the ID. When you come up with view ID names, make sure that they're all unique names. Usually picking something related to the content inside of it is helpful. Okay, cool. So that's how you position Kunal to the left of Ben. Now say, for example, we want to position Emoju above Jenny. Since we're going to need to refer to Jenny, we should create an ID for Jenny. On the Jenny text view, we specify this attribute and give it this value. The ID name is Jenny_text_view. On the Emoju text view, we add this attribute. This says that Emoju should be positioned above the Jenny text view. And this is the ID that we created up here. Let's look at the XML layout. We have a relative layout where the width and height are match parent. Then we have the Lila text view. It's aligned to the parent's bottom left corner. And that's what we see down here. Then we have the Jenny text view. It's aligned to the parent's bottom right corner. So that's over here. Then we have the Ben text view, and it's aligned to the top edge of the parent. It's also centered horizontally. These are the anchor views, and now we can position the other views around them. Notice that for each of the views, I already went ahead and added an ID. So this is the Ben text view ID. Then we can position the Kunal text view to the left of Ben. I align Kunal to the top of the parent and to the left of the Ben text view. I use the view ID for Ben right here. Then we position the Emoju text view above Jenny. Emoju is aligned to the right edge of the parent and above the Jenny text view. Okay, cool. So there's more friends to position correctly in this layout. In the instructor notes below, we've provided you a link to the XML visualizer with some initial code already in there. Go ahead and modify the XML so that we can achieve this desired layout for everyone. Some of the views are already positioned incorrectly, so you'll need to fix those. By the way, we just introduced a ton of new attributes, but don't feel like you have to memorize all of them. You can always look them up at any time. You can just search for relative layout params. If you click on this first link, you go to the documentation for this. So these are all the XML attributes that you can put on a child view within a relative layout, so that the relative layout knows how to lay it out. Here are some that you're already familiar with: layout above, align parent bottom, align parent right, and so on. Note that for teaching purposes, the XML visualizer may not support all of these attributes. However, when you're developing an app in Android Studio, you should be able to use all of these.